let's shift focus to a Signature Global. Let's pull up the counter and see what the stock is doing in trade, because real estate has been in focus. 19% market share is what the company holds in Delhi NCR region for the affordable and the mid-segment housing segment, and they have a pre-sales which has been increasing and seeing a growth of almost around 37 to 38%. Overall, if you go to see in the previous 5 trading sessions, the stock has been absolutely flat. Around a little over 9% is the kind of gains that we've seen in the last 1 month as well. In fact, if you see the real estate index itself, that's trading at a 14-year high. The components, though, are still a couple of points or a couple of percentage away from their life high levels as well. To discuss more, joining us on the show is Rajat Kathuria, CEO at Signature Global. Rajat, good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Hiral. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you, and hope you're doing well as well.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Rajat, clearly, real estate as a space has been in focus. From here on, what's the trajectory looking like for the remainder of the year? Another quarter that is left to be, completed.
So, Hiral, over the last couple of years, we're seeing very strong growth, at least in this micro market where we hold a reasonable position. So the demand is just overweighing a supply by a large volume, and there's a huge supply constraint in the market, in our view. Because if you look at the last decade, Gurugram per se has seen a lot of growth in infrastructure, a lot of social infrastructure elements have grown as well. But, housing supply has not met up to the kind of demand which has existed. So especially in the post-COVID era, every year we are witnessing, a surge in demand. And that's what's getting reflected in our, pre-sales numbers as well. So, between FY21 to 23, we've almost doubled our, pre-sales numbers. Even in the current year, we are quite hopeful of very strong growth. But it's not that, we are left with any inventory. Whatever we are able to offer to the market is kind of getting absorbed. So that's the kind of situation we are witnessing in the local market right now.
Right. So overall, Rajat, if you see in terms of the product split, your focus has been with regards to mid-income. Almost 89 to 90% of your revenues come in from there. And if you're looking at the ongoing projects as well, they are all expected to be completed between FY24 to 26. So now what remains is what's the revenue recognition you're looking at by FY26? And number 2, what's the launch pipeline? Because that is what will give us estimates as well in terms of what we should be looking at from a revenue perspective.
Sure. So see, currently we are delivering around 17 million square foot, which we are very hopeful of completing over the next 10 quarters, including the current quarter. So by end of FY26, we'll deliver around 17 million square foot, which will over this block period give us close to 11,000 odd crores of revenue recognition. As far as the forthcoming projects are concerned, and I'm talking of land, resources which we already we've tied up or we own or we have collaborated, it's almost like, 27 million square foot. As a principle, Hiral, we intend to make this more like a manufacturing model. We don't intend to land bank for long spans of time. So, our intent is to launch this entire 27 million square foot over the next 10 quarters. So towards the end of FY26, we would have effectively launched this entire 27 million and hopefully completed the entire 17 million, which is currently ongoing.
Okay. And if you see in terms of luxury as a segment as well, that is actually picking up steam. So does the company have any plans to enter the luxury housing space?
No, we'll stick to, what we do. So we plan to stay focused both in terms of product and geography. We are currently finding a lot of demand for our products within this market, and that in the mid-income segment. So we intend to continue, with our, local market, which is Gurugram, and continue to do mid-income. We do not plan to get into the luxury segment.
Okay. Overall, with regards to the optimal mix between mid-income housing, what are the forthcoming, projects that we're looking at, and do you expect that mix to change?
So, Hiral, we are effectively only doing mid-income housing. Mid-income, could be something starting at about 1 crore and could be going up to, let's say, 2.5 to 3 crores. So, that's how we look at the mid-income spectrum. There are three key micro markets within the Gurugram and Sona market where, we've seen a lot of success in the past. For instance, particular location on the Dwarka Expressway. Also, we've got a fairly large, land position, which is towards Sohna. There's this new Sohna elevated corridor which started, last year. And this is very close to the starting point of Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor. So, that's where, we've been doing a lot of work. So these two locations, as well as something, on the Southern Peripheral Road. So across these three micro markets, our endeavor is to come up with projects on a continuous basis and, serve these locations or develop these locations, into good, residential, commercial hubs, so to say, over a span of time.
Okay. Rajat, there has been focus in terms of affordable housing also, right? Again, how much of your revenue contribution could come from affordable, and how are you looking at the demand in the next 12 to 18 months?
So see, we started our business doing only affordable housing. So first 5 years of, initiation, we just did affordable housing. However, as land prices have gone up, Hiral, in the micro market, our mix of mid-income housing has, increased over a span of time. So as of now, in this 27 million square foot, it's mostly tilted towards mid-income housing. So, but we are always open to looking at more affordable housing opportunities. So by and large, you could say that we'll continue to focus on the mid-income space.
Okay, so one more question I have on affordable housing is with regards to the PMAY 2, right? The scheme is expected soon, and that is something which will probably help revive the demand in the affordable housing space. Anything that you've been picking up on that one as to when are they expecting it to come out, and what is the expectation from the scheme?
So, see, as far as demand is concerned, it's unending. Affordable housing, you and I can't even imagine the kind of the number of homes which are required in the country, or rather in every large city. There is endless demand for homes which could come at 25, 30, 35 lakhs. So demand is not a question at all. The problem is what kind of supply can be created. Because it's effectively a brick and mortar business. Every supply commitment has its own 3 to 4 year term towards completion. Also, what kind of financing advantages can be given to the end users? The current dispensation has given a lot of importance to affordable housing. That's why even in our first 5 years of existence, we could do so much because there were a lot of government incentives which were being given both at the central as well as the state level. So we would welcome any further sort of, policy initiatives from the government. And that's very much needed, for the people at the grassroots level.
So, Rajat, in terms of, the estimated revenue recognition, you had earlier mentioned around 1,100 odd crores between FY24 to 26. And there would be collection of almost 7,000 odd crores from ongoing projects between the same period. Would you stick to this guidance, or do you think there could be an upward revision taking into consideration the plans from here on?
So I'll just correct Sonal. So for this block, the revenue recognition is estimated at 11,000 crores. And collections from these ongoing projects itself is just going to be 7,000 crores. What I would like to bring again to your notice is that, see, between FY21 to 23, we've doubled, our sales number. So from about 1,600 crores in FY21, we did pre-sales of about 3,400 odd crores, last year, FY23. We see this strong growth in sales to continue, even in the future period, because the trend is that as much we are able to supply is getting consumed. And now that we have more land resources, we are very confident of doing more launches in the coming period. Over the next few months, we are in itself launching projects worth 8,500 odd crores within Gurgaon itself in the mid-income space. So we expect this strong growth in pre-sales to continue over, a medium term for sure. Collections have been very good. For this year, we are planning about 2,900 odd crores of collections and an operating surplus before land spend of almost 1,000 odd crores. So we expect all these, key business parameters to be, in a good growth phase over the coming times.
Right. My last question is, what is the growth you're looking at in terms of FY24? If you have to look at margins, volumes and top line.
So see the margins, top line effectively, we've given a guidance of about 4,500 odd crores for the current financial year. This is more than 30% sales growth vis-a-vis the previous year. The embedded EBITDA margin, on this sale is upwards of 30 odd percent. And, we expect a strong pre-sales growth in the following year as well, with maybe even better margins. So, both on margins and sales front, we are quite hopeful of a good momentum.
Right, so strong momentum for Signature Global that could be on the cards as well, and real estate as a pack has been buzzing as well. Thank you, Rajat, so much for joining us on the show and sharing the views. Clearly, this has been a space that the markets have been tracking absolutely closely. But let's quickly slip into a short break. Up next, we will speak to the management, that's the CFO at CMEC, on their recent order wins and outlook for FY24 on the other side. Please stay tuned.